Air, coming soon to own on video and DVD. I'm one of your hosts, Nick.
I'm your other host, Alex.
Alright,
Yeah.
today we have got a fun topic.
Ooh.
Today we're going to be talking about nostalgic things. I have been really nostalgic lately because the Sonic movie is coming out and I'm so excited.
It
It's
looks
gonna be
so
so
good.
good.
Let's have a moment of silence for those overworked artists who
Yes.
gave their souls and their wrists and everything in between to give us this amazing masterpiece. Moment of silence, please. Okay.
They did such a good job.
They did. His redesign is chef's kiss. It's fantastic.
They did so good.
You're seeing it Friday, right?
Yes, I'm seeing it the day it comes out.
Also, for you viewers at home, that would be today for you.
Yeah. Oh, for you guys it's Valentine's Day. Happy
Oh, that's
Valentine's Day.
happy Valentine's Day. I hope you're having a good day with whoever you choose, or whatever video game you want to play in the meantime. Or according to
Yes.
Jenna
Take care
Marbles'
of yourself.
video. Yeah,
Yeah.
yes. According to
Take care
Jenna's
of
Marbles
yourself.
video.
Treat yourself.
Oh, treat yourself. Anybody who doesn't have a Valentine's is their immediate Valentine's is with Kermit, her dog. So know that if you don't have one specifically, he is coming for you. Don't worry, he'll get there. So, nostalgia.
Yes, nostalgia. What nostalgic thing would you like to start out with?
Well, let's see. We have here quite a few categories of what we thought was the major things that we thought of when we thought of nostalgia. So, I think let's save the best for last. So, let's start with book.
Book.
Yes.
Awesome.
Do you want to go first or me?
Um, you can go first.
Okay. So, the book, and by nostalgia, we're mainly referring to, like, what makes us think of, like, our childhood, or what brings us the most feelings associated with the name, or thinking about it, stuff like that, you know. Nostalgia. The remembrance, the remembrance of being alive. And for me, the most nostalgic book that I have is Fairest by Gail Carson Levine. Now, if you don't know who Gail Carson Levine is, I think this'll jog your memory. She is the woman who wrote Ella Enchanted. You know,
Woohoo!
that wonderful movie with Anne Hathaway and that one guy, I'm sorry, I don't remember his name. That movie is based off the book that Gail Carson Levine wrote. This was, I believe, I don't think it was her first book, but I think it was her second book. But Fairest and then the Two Sisters of Some Place and then Ella Enchanted were all in the same universe.
Ooh.
Yes, so this book takes place in the same universe as Ella Enchanted, and actually one of the characters is the godmother. You know the godmother from, I think, Lucinda?
Yes.
Yes, she plays a major role in this book. Surprisingly. Yes.
Good.
Yes. So Ferris by Gail Carson Levine. It was one of the first books that I read. I believe I first read it when I was, oh my gosh, 11. Yeah. And it's a typical fairy tale book with the main message behind it is that come to love yourself even if you're the whole thing is about a girl who isn't conventionally attractive by her country's standards. But she has a fantastic singing voice. And so she gets employed by the queen to act as her voice because the queen is from out of country and she can't sing worth anything. And so she gets employed and then it's a whole tale of intrigue. I'm not going to spoil anything if you want to somehow pick up a young adult novel from 2007, I think. So it's one of my favorite books, and I read it so many times when I was a kid. And almost every time I go into a library, I always see if they have it, just because that's my benchmark for if it's a good library or not. is if it has that book. So
That's a
yes,
good way.
yeah, that's my favorite book. It's one of the best. It's one. It's just I have it on Kindle too, um, but it's just one of those books where I think of the name and I think of the whole just me sitting, reading it for hours on an end, on like a middle school day when I was trying to relax because middle school. So
Yeah.
yeah, there's my nostalgic book.
Awesome. Um,
What you got?
I got a couple. So I'm just gonna say one, I think.
Yes.
And so the one that came to mind first was Varjak Paw.
I do not know what that is.
It's okay. It's a book by S.F. Said.
Saeed.
Said, I think is how you say it.
Spell it?
Said.
Yeah, Saeed. It
Yeah,
should be
Said.
Saeed.
Yes. And it's about cats
Oh,
and fighting.
like warrior cats?
Yes, but not like the cats books.
Okay.
Yeah, it's different from the cats books. It's
Okay.
also there's like some like meditation and like self-discovery. Um,
Oh.
it's a very good time, and I think about it a lot.
Nice. When did you first read it?
I was in intermediate school,
Aw, tiny
so I
boy.
was little.
Tiny
I was
boy.
little.
You were just a small rock boy. You were an island boy yet.
I was not an island boy yet.
You
I'm an
were
island boy now.
you were offshore boy.
Was offshore boy.
That's great. Do you have access to it now? Do you like own it or anything?
I don't own it. I wish I owned it.
Oof.
I keep thinking I'm just gonna give it to one of my siblings and then be like, hee hee hee. Now I'm reading it.
That's great.
Um, so that might happen in the future.
That's fantastic. I'm glad we talked about this because
Yeah.
I don't know if I've ever told you about Ferris. I've probably mentioned it offhand.
Yeah, you mentioned it a little, but we never like
Actually talked about it. Yeah.
talked about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's see. I think next. How about song next?
Okay, song next. That's
Yes.
awesome.
Yes. So I will go first again, shall I?
Yes. Go for it.
This song is very loaded for me. And
Okay.
not in a way of like heavy emotional trauma or anything. No. It's more in a way of it has been following me my whole life. Everybody in my family who knows me knows that I relate, well, not relate, but knows that if you think of Alex, you think of this song.
Yes.
And that song is You Are My Sunshine.
It's a very
That's
sad song.
Yes, it's that sweet song that's like bittersweet and everything like that. Now, the reason why it's so nostalgic for me is cuz my mom used to sing it for me. Like cuz she would call me her sunshine. Like to my family, I'm a little star and everything like that. A little sun. And so she would sing You Are My Sunshine to me a lot when I was younger, and then Dad would sing it and Becca would sing it whenever I needed to calm down. It's just a song that if I hear it, just like if I hear it vaguely, I'm like, oh, I know exactly what that is. I have I have the first two verses on a little plaque that my mom got me for Christmas in my room that I keep with me. And like if I'm just sitting there and I need a song to hum, I'm usually humming that just cuz it's just so ingrained in my being.
Yeah, that's so sweet.
You Are My Sunshine is just a song that's been ingrained in my being since I was born. And so, whenever it was kind of funny, whenever we were thinking of like, we talked about earlier what categories and everything, and I said song, but then I took like forever trying to figure out what song it would be. Like, I had Evanescence on here, I had Highway to Hell, I had Jukebox Hero, and then I had this thought. I was like, wait, this is supposed to be nostalgic, as in followed me throughout my childhood, and like
Yeah.
as soon as I thought of that, it just smacked me in the face for You Are My Sunshine. Because I have very vague memories of when I was just a tiny baby. And I would
Yeah.
hear, like, my mom or my dad or my sister singing it to me. So, nice, loaded, emotional time!
That's sweet.
Yeah,
Oh.
yeah, it really is one of my favorite songs. It's like, it's. I'm very happy that I'm able to have such a it's not it's mainstream song that I can connect to really easily. And I would like
Yeah.
to think it helped solidify my whole like son persona. Just like okay, this is good little tangent here. Um if there's anything to be said about the symbolism in my life, it is to do with suns.
Yes.
Everything is to do with suns and stars with me. It's whenever I was while my mom was pregnant with me, she went to a tarot card reader and she picked the card for me, which was the sun. You are my sunshine. I was called Star when I was younger. Everything is just suns and stars with me.
That's good. It's
Yes.
consistent.
Yes, and I love consistency. Alright, so you got to hear a little piece of just my entire being. Tell me your song, sir.
Okay. Well, I was thinking just now because you were saying that like they sung it to you a lot. Um, every night before bed, we would always sing "Twinkle Twinkle Little Star."
Oh,
So
that's
that's
so...
definitely one of my nostalgic songs. Um, but I also have things on here like "Big Time Rush."
Oh, hell yeah, dude!
Hell yeah.
Well, I said
Cold,
yeah. Yeah.
huh?
I was going like jukebox here and everything, but no, keep going, please.
So Big Time Rush.
Hell
Um,
yeah,
Coldplay
dude. Ooh.
and Journey.
Aye.
Yeah, we used to listen to Journey on road trips.
Oh, yeah,
So
that
I
makes...
like specifically remember staying up super late at night
Oh, hell
and
yeah.
like passing like the occasional streetlight and Journey playing in the background.
Ooh, that's a video game right there, my dude.
Yeah.
Can I add one more to my thing?
Absolutely.
Because I was just thinking about this. Also, not only You're My Sunshine, the other one my parents and, like, it would follow me around is, ironic, uh, The Lion Sleeps Tonight. That one, it was, I remember this very clearly. I was in a daycare, and a guy came in with his guitar, and he just started singing it, and I knew the words already somehow, probably because Dad sang it to me or something. And
Yeah,
so that's just another potent memory for me, because I know that song very, very well.
that's so good.
Yeah, so
Look at
you're...
that. You took your two songs and
And,
combined them into your identity.
yeah! Amazing! You know, I did listen to a lot of Journey too. I listened to a lot of 80s songs growing
Yeah.
up. Cuz that's the main stuff that my parents would have in the on in the car. It was 80s and then Evanescence cuz my sister was there too. You got that good edgy
Balance.
teen. Balance exactly as all things should be. Ah, that's great. Let's see. Let's go TV series this time.
All right.
I'm really glad we got to talk about those songs because those two songs are actually really important to me. Alright,
Yeah.
TV series. This one I have a little fun story for. The one that I chose is Fetch with Rough Ruffman. And if you do not know what Fetch with Rough Ruffman is, I swear you need to go look it up right now. Because if you want to see the definition of my personality, just watch one episode of The Dog, and that is it. That is what I am. I watched it so much when I was a kid, and I just turned into Rough Ruffman. I even have circular glasses now. Oh no! I have become the Ruffman.
Oh my gosh.
Alright, here.
That show is so good though.
It is. It was.
So good.
I think that was one of the key things that got me into like trivia and got me into like solving puzzles and everything, because that's what
Yes.
those were. Those were escape rooms, basically.
Yeah.
Just some like but with some of them, like the Italian episode, they would, or the Da Vinci episode, they would go across the whole city, and they had to like mix paint and everything like that.
Yeah.
I just like, because of watching that show, stuff like that, like adventure plus puzzle solving, just got solidified in my head as something that
Yes.
I love to do. Now, the funny story with this show is that, unbeknownst to me at the time, my father tried to get me on Fetch with Rough Ruffman. He sent in, I don't know what he sent, like, I think he sent like a resume and maybe a video of me just being myself, and maybe my test scores as well, because they need like smart little children. And so he didn't tell me this until years and years later, whenever I was on a nostalgia kick and I was thinking about, oh, Fetch with Rough Ruffman, and he offhandedly says, oh yeah, I tried to get you on that show. I go, what? What? And yeah, apparently he did try, and that's so sweet to me.
It is.
Cause
Your
he
dad's got
knew,
your back.
yeah, he knew how much I loved that show, and he knew how much a performer I was when I was younger. That he was like, I'll see if I can get her on the show, and that's really sweet to me.
It is.
Ah, I love that. Can you imagine if I was on one of those seasons of Fetch with Rough Ruffman?
That would be crazy.
Ah, that would be nuts. I would not be
It
the
would be
same person.
great.
It would have been fantastic. I would not be the same person that I am today if I was on one of those seasons.
No.
I might have gone on a more what's the word, performance type way. And real quick side note, I apparently when I was younger, I didn't know this, but apparently a lot of people tried to get me to be a little model as a baby, because I was a cute baby. Don't know about now, but I was a cute baby. And according to my parents, they actually got offers for me to do modeling things, and my dad took one look at baby me and said, I don't want her in that society, and
Oh,
off.
that's good.
Yeah, I had very, very, my parents made sure I grew up in a safe environment.
Good.
Yes. Now, you have heard my TV series, and real quick, let's talk about the contenders. The other two contenders were Soul Eater, because it's the first anime that I watched on my own, and then Dexter's Laboratory for obvious reasons. I, I
Okay.
I am, if I'm the same amount of Ruffman as I am the same amount of Dexter.
Yeah.
So, there. You'll notice a theme with all these. All of these have coalesced into just my identity. If I
Yeah.
like something I watch, I assimilate it into myself. Alright, tell me your TV series.
All right. Let's see. I feel like it's only right that I say that my TV show was Sonic X.
Oh, hell yeah, dude.
Hell yeah. That show, kind of a mess, because I was watching it from 4Kids,
Oh, just,
but
4Kids.
it's on Netflix now.
Is it? I didn't know that.
It is. And
Ooh.
so, once I'm done watching what I'm watching now, I'm gonna be right back on Sonic X, because I never finished it.
Really?
I never finished it, but I was really into it,
It'd be like that.
and I love Sonic.
Hell yeah, dude. They have a whole bunch of. Oh, I forgot to put Scooby Doo on there.
Oh yeah, Scooby Doo.
Did I tell you that I had a Scooby Doo birthday party when I was younger?
No.
Yeah, whenever I was like 5, I believe, I had the poster for the longest time. Dad drew me, cause my dad's an artist. If you didn't know this, he's where I got most of my artistic tendencies from. He drew a picture of me hugging Scooby Doo, cause I was obsessed with Scooby Doo. Where are you? When I was younger, and
Yeah.
he threw me a surprise party at my daycare center where he got a Scooby Doo cake and I got a Scooby Doo plush, and he had the poster ready. And that's honestly one of the biggest things I remember, was just coming around the corner. I think it was right after nap time, and I came around the corner, and
Oh.
everybody was just like, surprise! I was like, oh, hello! And I had a
Oh,
Scooby Doo
that's so
birthday party.
cute.
I had the poster up on my door for the longest time. The only reason why I had to take it down was because it was falling apart, and it tore me
Oh.
up inside. Because I was like, oh, my Scooby. He did such a good job drawing him too. And it was just, anyway, sorry. Yeah, there's another one on the list. Scooby-Doo.
That's a great.
Just any version of Scooby-Doo, except Mystery Incorporated. That is a horrible series, and I was so angry. Yes. Sorry to interrupt you.
No, that's okay. That was a great mention.
Yeah, I was just...
My next one I have to say is the Backyardigans.
Oh
The
my god!
was my stuff.
Oh.
I could watch Backyardigans for hours.
Oh hell yeah, dude.
Hours.
I completely forgot about it until yesterday when I was watching 2000s cartoon openings. As soon as I saw Backyardigans, I was like, oh my god!
No, the Backyardigans was so good.
It really was. It really was.
So good.
It really was.
And then I guess I'm gonna give a shout out to Kirby Right Back at Ya.
I never watched that.
Because that show doesn't get enough love and respect.
It really doesn't. It really doesn't. Ooh, we should do one for the both of us, because I know this is one we both connect to a lot. Teen Titans!
Yes!
Yes! That's one we both are perfectly in tune.
Oh, I love Teen Titans. And one more for both of us.
Alright.
Card Captor.
Oh,
Card Captor Sakura.
I watched that whole series at least 3 times. Each episode at least 3 times, I swear. Yes. Specifically, we've talked about this, specifically the ice rink episode and the water park episode. Those two stand out just so much.
Yes, they do, and they're such good episodes.
They're so good.
And like, this was at the part of my life where I was watching anime in 3 parts on YouTube. If that's not a nostalgic feeling, on completely different channels, so you know there would be overlap. Like, if that's not a nostalgic feeling for you,
I don't know
who you are.
And like, sometimes you would get the one that had the like Spanish subtitles, so you'd have to go back and see if you could like trace it like an archaeologist.
Yes.
Oh, I remember that so well. I remember the first day I ever went on like a website like Kiss Anime. I said, oh, "This is the future."
And then it was a giant virus.
Exactly.
But it was fun while it lasted.
Do you know the Card Captors movie?
No, I don't think I ever watched the movies.
Oh my god.
But I'm going to when I finish watching it with my siblings.
Very good. It took me months to find all the parts on YouTube for me to watch. It took months. And it got to the point I had to ask my sister to help me, because she was the original one that I would go to for help with that kind of stuff, specifically on YouTube, because Dad had his Japanimation like DVDs and everything. He didn't have the YouTube in parts, so I'd have to go to my sister and be like, "Can you help me find this?" And since she's already watched it, she said, "All right, sit down, I got you."
Oh my gosh, that's hilarious.
It really...
That dedication to watch a full movie on YouTube.
Oh, yes.
One of the few movies that I did watch in parts on YouTube was 10 Things I Hate About You, because I kept seeing like it mentioned in like fandom spaces, and I was like, what the heck is this movie? And then I watched it and I was like, this movie is so good.
I don't know what that is. I don't know what 10 Things I Hate About You is.
Oh my gosh.
I'll watch it at some point.
Watch it sometime. We'll watch it sometime.
Speaking of movies.
Yes.
Let's move on to movies, shall we?
Heck yeah. Go for it.
So, what I have here is my 2. I have 2. I'll talk about one for the most part, and then I'll put in the other one at the end. But the main movie that I think of for nostalgic movies for me is Coraline. Now,
yes, Coraline is so good.
This movie meant the world to me when I was younger, because I went to go see it with my sister in theaters, and whenever we came out, my friend, I went with some friends at the time. I don't remember them now. And they were talking about how freaky the movie was and everything like that, and I was like, I really liked it. And my sister, who was babysitting us, looked at me and said, yeah, I'm so glad you did. I was like, oh,
that's good.
And she patted me on the head and stuff like that. I was just like, and she encouraged me to like it, even though it was so creepy and weird, right? So,
Yeah.
so like, not only that, but 3D, claymation is one of
Yeah.
my favorite methods of animation. Favorite.
Yes.
My favorite movies when I was younger were Wallace and Gromit. Ugh, I
Yay.
loved Wallace and Gromit. But in Coraline combined horror, which I was just starting to get into at the time when I first saw it, and then claymation, and then just a twisted story that I just had to follow down, and then freaking. It's one of my favorite movies. Every time I watch it, I just get a deep seated feeling of just pure. I was a child when I watched this, and I still get the same feelings now.
Yes, that movie
It's
is so good.
Coraline is one of my favorite movies ever. I love it. It doesn't get enough love, in my opinion.
For real.
Like
That
you,
movie sends like chills down your spine every
oh,
single time.
it really does. It really does. And oh, I
It
forgot who
does.
wrote it. Oh, it's Neil something. What's my
I think it's
man's?
Neil Gaiman, right?
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
I read the original book after I saw the movie, and I was like,
Oh,
oh,
terrifying.
it's great. I also found a comic book version of it too.
Ooh.
Yes, and I read through that. I was like, oh.
Yeah. No, the book is a lot different, right?
It is. Yeah, it is.
Yeah, because I'll read it eventually.
Yeah,
I'll
yeah.
get there. It's
But
on it's on the list.
it's yeah, yeah. It's just it's such a good movie. Anyway, and then the other one that I had on here was Spirited Away.
Yay!
Spirited
Oh,
Away.
I love Spirited Away.
Yep. That's a major. That's another favorite in the Alex household. Just because
Yes.
we would put it on. I would demand that it be put on, and then I would sit with my father or my sister, whoever was dealing with me at the time. Uh, and so I would sit and I would watch it. And I would know every line, and I would know everything that was happening, and I could count every brushstroke on the background. That's how
Good.
much I watched that movie. It's a great movie. I love it. I adore it. And I have been watching it for forever and a day. And Howl's Moving Castle. Those two are in about the
Yes.
same realm for me.
Howls is also so good. I love
Howl's
both of
is
those movies.
top tier. I own the book on
Yes, you do.
on both Kindle and paperback.
Yes.
Yes, I got you if you want to read it. Now,
Yes.
tell me your movies, dear man.
All right. Um, the first one, like the first one I always think of, is the third Pokemon movie,
Oh,
which is the one with Entei. Did you ever see that one, Alex?
I didn't see any of the Pokemon movies, big guy.
Oh,
That was
oh,
my sister's thing, not me.
that's okay. It's
I,
okay. Let me tell you about this Pokemon movie.
yeah.
It's all about like reality and like what you want it to be versus what it actually is.
Ooh.
And
Sounds edgy.
it is really edgy. And I love it so much. And I love Entei so much. Like Entei is such a good design.
Hell yeah.
And
Here, wait. Let me look up Entei.
please.
How do I spell that?
Entei.
Oh, Entei.
Tay.
Oh, that boy.
Yes, I love
know
that boy.
He reminds
I
me
love
of
that boy.
he reminds me of that one. I can't remember it by now. Right now, it was like a something or a Dawn or something. But that is a good Raikou. That's what I'm thinking of.
Yes. Yes, the
Yes.
3 legendary dogs.
Oh, I didn't know.
Yes.
He's 12. He's almost 12 feet tall.
He's big
No,
boy.
seven. Sorry. I was not doing good. He's almost 7 feet tall.
He's big. He's big boy.
Big boy.
But I love that movie
Hell
so much. No, that's my favorite Pokemon movie,
Hell
definitely.
Yeah, dude. What's the main antagonist in it?
The main antagonist is Entei.
Oh.
Yeah. Oh, we're gonna watch the Pokemon the third Pokemon movie sometime.
We probably are. Right after Lion King. We're not going to talk about it. Continue?
We're not gonna talk about Lion King. Oh my gosh.
Continue?
But no, I will make you watch this movie.
I don't doubt it.
I will.
When you have a goal, you do not stop.
And then the other ones are Spirit.
Is that
Did you ever watch Spirit?
Is that the horse
the
movie?
horse movie?
Yeah, that's the horse
Yes,
movie.
I love that movie.
I
and
don't.
Also Bambi.
I don't think
Spirit
I've
and
seen
Bambi.
either of those. Well, I've seen parts of Spirit. I never watched Bambi. I think that was another case of my sister being like, I don't want you to get scarred in some way.
Fair.
So she didn't.
Honestly, fair.
Let me watch Bambi. Either that or I just didn't have access to it.
That's also fair.
Yeah. But I have seen bits and pieces of Spirit, like probably at the school or like the daycare that I was at the time.
Spirit goes hard.
Mm.
It does. It's a good movie.
You know what I was just thinking about? Whenever I just said like the stuff they would put on at school, I just had this visceral recollection of my school, the first elementary school I went to. We decorated the hallways like the rainforest. Like, you know, whenever you were a kid and you were talking about the rainforest, and your teachers made it especially clear that there are like 7 layers of the rainforest.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, I love that. They would get like the paper.
Yeah.
That you have to like rip.
And then separate it out by levels and stuff like that.
Separate it out by levels, and they would like put the trees in the hallways.
Yes, that's exactly what it was. So yeah, the school would do that, and so I was looking. I just had this visceral memory of us watching Jungle Book.
Really?
Yes, we watched Jungle Book.
Okay.
During one of the time, because it was like a holiday. It was the day before a holiday, and the teacher didn't want to do anything, or probably didn't have anything prepared.
Yeah.
So she was like, you know what? You know how around the whole school it's like a jungle right now? Well, I'm gonna put on the Jungle Book, and you have to tell me when you see the different layers pop up. That's exactly what happened. And we did it, damn it. Yes! Yes, we did it. And I watched Jungle Book, and I think at one point the kids were running around and I was the only one watching it. I just remember sitting there alone and watching it at some point with no one around me. That sounds really depressing now that I say it out loud. Ooh. Anyway.
Oh, my schools, we would always watch like Finding Nemo over and over again.
Nice.
Dude, I love Finding Nemo.
I watched Fantasia 2000 once. At school.
I love that.
At school. Fantasia 2000, fantastic. I love it. The sound design, the animation, top tier.
Yes.
But we watched it at school once, and I remember that I was the only one paying attention.
That one. That's a nostalgic film.
That is the definition of nostalgia. I'll watch that. They have it on Netflix. Me and Dad just sat. Yes. They have they have that and a lot of the Disney clips, like the shorts.
Oh my god. Fantasia was on there?
I'm pretty sure. Yeah, there was just a day where me and Dad sat down and we watched all of them.
Oh my gosh.
Did I tell you that one year, you know the one with the drummer during the Depression?
Yes.
That soundtrack was on one of my academic lists for what I had to remember. Because of that song, I got like 5 questions right.
That's awesome.
Because of that, I was so happy. I was just like, oh, I know that. Because it was sound. You know how I am with sound. If I hear it, I know what it is. And so if you don't know what academic is, it's Academic Decathlon. If you've seen the Spider-Man, the first one, you know that team that he's on. Think of that, but less cool. That's what I was on. And so they'll have a portion where they'll play the music. And you have to identify it by what the name is, who the person is, yada yada yada, what time period it came out, how did it affect the era, yada yada yada. And so I heard that, I was like, oh, I know everything. Yeah,
Good.
it was good. Sorry, again, another tangent.
That's okay.
We're
Tangents are awesome.
well, especially in nostalgia, I suppose.
Yeah,
Hell yeah!
that's
All
what
right,
it's about.
all right. Journey,
Right.
huh? Not Journey, Spirit.
Spirit. I watch Spirit a lot.
Nice. You know what? I also watched fucking Veggie Tales.
Yes! VeggieTales was a good
It
time.
was.
Like,
You know the one I remember the most?
huh?
The
Which
one,
one?
the one where they're in the castle and there's and the
With the
king.
rubber ducky?
Yes, yes,
Yes!
the rubber ducky. One brain, one
Yes! Oh
brain.
my gosh,
Oh
yes.
my god, I think about that a lot. Cause like that was the I usually watched it when I stayed with one with a specific set of grandparents, and it was
Oh,
that set of grandparents that taught me how to sew and stuff
oh,
like that. Yeah, one taught me how to knit, the other taught me how to sew. So I'm just like, oh, this is a visceral reaction to the song. Hello.
yes.
That's one thing I've noticed lately. Because, like I said earlier, I've been doing the guess that video game theme or guess that 2000s cartoon theme or whatever, just because I like doing those. And I've noticed that if something hits a chord with me, I react to it like viscerally. Like my body will shake and I have to say what it is. Because I'm just like, oh, I know what that is.
Where you left that video
Oh,
game?
yes, the best one of them all, arguably. The video
Perhaps
game.
the video game. I'm excited.
Yes. So, for me, I've
Yes.
talked about these before.
Yeah.
And just the main reason I'm bringing them up again is because they just meant so much to me as a kid. And they just activated, and like every time I see it, I'm just like, oh, that's my childhood in one bundle. And
Good.
the main one that activates that for me is Psychonauts. Again, I've talked about this, but sit down, Sonny Jim, you're gonna hear it again! So, Psychonauts is a wonderful game where you play as Raz, or Rasputin, a runaway circus boy who's a psychic. And he comes to this
Heck yeah.
psychic camp where, unbeknownst to his parents, and he breaks in, basically. And you have
Good.
2 days to figure out what all is going on in the camp.
Good.
Yes, and you can. I'm not going to give away spoilers, but he's a psychic, so he can go into other people's mind. He can move stuff. He can blow stuff up. He can go invisible. Just Psychonauts is a fantastic game. The art style is amazing. Not blame. I give credence to a lot of the colors I use and the sharp lines and the kind of weird styles I'll do with certain, like, if I'm trying to go more horror-esque, I give that style that I do to Psychonauts because of, if you look at anything in Psychonauts, it is incredibly stylized, it's incredibly just colorful, it's just top tier!
Heck yeah.
And,
That game is so good.
it really is!
It
And,
really is.
like, one of the main things is you can go into people's minds by a door, and
Yes.
there are, you have the main kid, and then you have all the other campers who all have individual stories on their own, and if you can play that game through 10 times, and you would find something new every time. Just with the
Mm-hmm.
campers alone, that's not even talking about what's going on around you. That game is amazing, and it's like multi-layered, and like in terms of nostalgia, it was one of the main games that my sister and my dad and my mom knew about, and my dad and my sister would play it a lot. My sister loved it as well as I did, and my dad really liked it too. And so there are hours of my memory where I just sat down next to my sister or my dad and I watched them play it, because that's what I did when I was younger. I was too afraid to
Yeah.
play video games on my own, so I would just sit down next to my sister or my dad. It was usually my dad, and I would just watch them play video games. And when I came in, my dad was like, "Here, I'll pull up Psychonauts for you," and he would, and then I'd just watch him play.
Very good.
And it's a very important game to me, just because it's I just love it so much. It's just so connecty. Connecty.
It's connecty.
Yes. And I have a version of it on almost anything I can get it on. Like, I have a PS2 version of it. I have a PC version of it, both I think on DVD and on Steam. I definitely
Nice.
have it on Steam. I can put that game on any computer I wish.
Good.
Yes, yes. So, oh, there's that one, and then the other one is, you as much as we've talked about music today, this makes sense that this is one of my games that I thought of a lot whenever I was younger. This game is Audio Surfer. Now, if you want to know what an LSD trip looks like, play Audio Surfer and then play a song that has deep bass.
Heck yeah.
Do you remember that time when I was playing it and then I decided to load up an AJR song?
Yes.
And I was
so
just
fun.
screeching. Because it had been years since I last played it, and then I was just like, I want to see what this is like now. And so I go on it. And the whole thing with AJR is. Not AJR, dang it. The whole thing with Audio Surf is it takes each of the notes and turns them into a block. And you have to either avoid or collect the blocks. And you basically follow the whole song on its track, including like bumps and like screeches, like treble, bass, everything. You just follow it like you're a ship on a track.
Mm-hmm.
And it's up to you to hang on for the ride. So it would make sense
fun.
why I'm so like attuned to music, since I played that game a lot when I was younger. Now, I have talked for forever about video games. Tell me your nostalgic video games.
All right. Well, one of the first video games that I ever played was Spyro
Oh,
the
dang.
Dragon.
Yeah.
Yes. I love that boy.
Oof.
My family had the first three.
Ooh.
I think there's basically the three for PlayStation 1.
I remember the PlayStation 1.
Yes,
It was
that
just
little dude.
It wasn't little. It was great.
It is little. It's little.
Oh my god, I was thinking of it through children's eyes. Yeah, it is little, and it was gray, and you had to pop the top. I remember it.
Yeah, you have to pop the top and put your memory card in.
Oh god, the memory card.
Uh-huh.
Mm-hmm.
The controller had to be plugged in.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
On some versions, there was a button on the controller, so you could use your analog stick.
Ooh.
Yeah. But those are fantastic games.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm so glad that I got to play them, because maybe I wouldn't have played video games if I hadn't gotten started early.
Ooh.
But let's see. Another one is that I just thought of it, and I like never think about it, but it's Pokemon Ranger.
Ooh.
Where you gotta capture the Pokemon by like drawing circles.
Yeah.
Yeah. I used to play that for like hours and hours, because I used to get sick all the time.
Oh.
And so I would be like sitting at home or like with one of my parents, and I would just be playing Pokemon Ranger, just like circling all the Pokemon.
Oh, heck yeah.
And then
dude.
I mean, where would I be without Neopets, right?
Where would any of us be without Neopets?
I feel like of everything.
You're right, and you should say it.
Where would we be without it? I mean, look, we got so much stuff from Neopets. We got Neopets.
Yeah.
That's actually the only contribution I can think of.
Yeah, well, it attributed to how some people drew animals, definitely.
Yes,
like with the big eyes and everything, and like the colorful palettes.
Definitely.
Oh yeah.
And I mean, it was so much fun. It's like pre-social media for babies.
Exactly.
Because you just got animals and you got your Neo friends and you go to like the giant jelly and be like, give me the free jelly.
Give me the jelly. You know what I just thought of?
Huh?
Pop Tropica.
Oh yes, Pop Tropica was so much
I
fun.
played the shit out of that game. I've spent hours on that game. Like, no fucking joke.
Yeah.
Yeah, just because I was always the type who, if we were in the computer lab, I always got my stuff done first.
Yeah.
That's just how I was as a child. I would just work as fast as I could, and I was usually pretty accurate. So I would
You
just sit
computer
there.
child.
Exactly. Wait,
You are
what?
still a computer
Oh
child.
yes, I have and always will be a computer child, and I have a story about that if you'd like to hear it. And so I would just sit there, and my teacher would be like, "Oh, just go do something." And I just remember every time I would have free time, which was a lot of the time in school computer labs, I'd just be like, "Okay, gotta go to Pop Tropica. Got it. Let's go." And like everybody would watch and would look over and see me be on Pop Tropica and be like, why aren't you done with it? Why aren't you working on your stuff? I'm like, haha, I finished it already. Click, click, click. Oh yeah, no. And then we'd always have like class meetings to be like, how do we beat this one Pop Tropica island?
Yeah.
I don't know how to beat this. And there was that one kid whose brain was just a little bit quicker than us all. It's just like, you have to do it like this, and we said thank you.
Yes. You would look over at the person's desktop like next to you and you'd be like, oh, how did you get that?
Exactly. I would just look over and be like, "Where are you?"
And then they would be like, I'm in this world, and you'd be like, oh, and you would
Oh,
just go straight to the same world.
exactly. You know what? You know what world I could never beat?
Huh.
The pirate world.
Oh, I love the
I
pirate world.
still don't know how it worked.
I don't know if I ever beat it, but I definitely just like walked around a
Oh
lot.
yeah. I was on the ship a lot. And the other one that I really liked was the future one. Do you remember the
Oh,
future one where
I
the thing I remember the most about it was being in the castle and you had to get the robotic mouse to get the cheese.
I don't remember that
You
part.
don't remember
I feel like I remember the future world like only a little bit
That's
though.
fair. That's fair.
Um, the one that I remember the most clearly,
Hmm.
if you can say that, is besides like the Big Nate world,
Oh fuck. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
was like the Spy world.
Oh my gosh, the spy world.
Yeah, do you remember the
Ah,
Spy
I
world?
do. And the
Yeah,
superhero world. Oh, the superhero
yes.
world. Uh the I yeah, like I said, I spent countless hours in Pop Tropica. I had an account, but then I lost it, and I was depressed
Oh
when I
no.
found out I couldn't get on it. They monetized Pop Tropica now. It's nothing like it used to be. I can't even go on it without feeling guilty.
Aw. Do you remember when Neopets got like really popular and
La-
they were could like buy Neopets gift
yes,
cards in
yes.
Target or
That
whatever?
was like for 2 years, like, and you could get like
Yeah.
I think stuffed Neopets.
Yes, I have some stuffed Neopets.
I got Webkins.
Oh, Whipkins were cool
I
too.
had this one Webkins. It was the one Webkins that we got because that was all we could afford, and it
Yeah.
was the pink unicorn. And
Oh,
she was a cotton candy pink unicorn, and I named her Cotton Candy, and I still have her to this day, and I still love her.
good.
Yes, it was
Yeah.
the one Webkins that I had.
Web games were really out here for us.
Uh huh, uh huh.
I never played Club Penguin. Did you ever play Club Penguin?
I didn't. No, I didn't.
Okay,
I
yeah,
would
because
see people
like,
playing, and I'm like, I like Pop Tropica.
you know what? I have to give a shout out to this one
uh,
computer game.
what?
I have to. It made me cry when it was over.
Oh fuck, what?
Yeah. It was called Tinier Me,
That sounds cute.
and yeah, it was really cute. You know those like Dream Selfie? Like that's
No.
what it's called. It was like Dream Selfie Avatar Maker.
Oh no. Oh no. But I can Google faster than a speeding bullet.
Okay.
You know what I was also thinking of? The
Huh.
Disney games. Like I played the.
Oh yeah.
You know, fun fact. Do you remember when I had my long hair and I would just put it
Yeah.
up in a half ponytail?
Yeah.
I got that idea to do that from a Disney Sweet Life of Zack and Cody dress up
Heck
game.
yeah.
And I saw that they had something called a half pony and it looked like half the hair was up and the rest was down. I was like, oh, that is innovative.
Heck yeah.
I'm on the dream selfie thing.
Yes, the dream selfie. So you basically made your avatar and it was like all that
Oh, it's
style.
like Pit Crew.
Yeah, kind of like Pit Crew.
Okay.
Only you like made your avatar and you could like walk around and talk with other people
Wow.
and
Oh my
you could like
gosh.
trade items and there were like groups, like fan groups and stuff.
I can have a hat.
And um it was really fun and they had like events for like really popular shows and stuff. So there was like Vocaloid ones, there was like a Talia event, there was a Durarara event.
Ooh.
Um those are like the the top three I remember. But there were a lot of different events, and it was really fun. And I used to go on it like every day.
That sounds really
Um,
fun.
and then they were like, "We're shutting down," and I was like, "Oh my gosh,
No. Oh my gosh, you know what another one
it was
is?
really sad, huh?"
I'm so sorry to cut
No, no, it's
your depression
okay.
off. I just thought of this.
Huh?
Oh, this one is also one that I logged hours on.
Huh?
Wizard 101.
Oh my gosh.
I was on there constantly as well, and I would always get to the part like I could get to the paywall very quickly, and I would tried my best to find ways around it.
That's funny.
Yeah, I really
I
tried.
I never played Wizard 101.
Really?
Yeah, I had a grudge against Wizard 101
Ooh, why?
because I had this idea for something called Wizard 101 and then that came out and I was so mad because I had this idea for a really cool thing and then there was this other thing called Wizard 101
Oh
and then everybody
no.
who looked at my thing would be like, "Oh, it's just Wizard 101." So
Oh
I was so
my.
mad. I was like, I can never play this game.
Oh, you know what that reminds me of?
uh,
I had this idea when I was younger of like a guy who was just completely like incredibly sick. Whenever I was younger, I was very like scared of sickness and illnesses. I still am, but it's just a thing with me. I'm terrified of illness and everything. I once stayed home a full week because I got a mild case of strep throat. That
honestly, honestly fair.
Yeah, well, that was back when I was in middle school and I was just like awkward, so I was just like,
Yeah.
I want to stay home a week. But because of that, they threw away my bag
Mm,
with my art supplies.
mm.
No, I did.
Because you were at home sick?
Yeah, yeah, and they said it was borderline my fault for not being there.
That doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, that was a point of great contention with my mother in the school, as well as my
Yeah.
father in the school. That was a bad time. I did get
Yeah.
a free thing of art supplies for it,
That's
so that
good.
was
They
fun.
better. They
But
threw away your stuff.
they threw away my backpack, which I was quite angry
They threw
about.
they threw away your backpack?
What they did was they opened my locker because I had left early because I was so sick I couldn't go back and get my thing. And so they threw away everything in my locker, including my
That literally
backpack,
makes no sense.
including my sketchbooks, including everything I owned in that locker. They just took it out and threw it away. But we're not going to talk about that. We're going. I went to a trash middle school. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, you know what middle
Did,
school I
huh?
went to.
Huh?
You know what middle school I went to. This was the same middle school
Yeah.
where a fight broke out while I was up. I got up to throw away my trash in the lunchroom, and then a fight broke out right not 2 feet away from me. And I was just like, oh! And to this day, I think about it, I'm just like, I'm so lucky I didn't join it. Because knowing the me now, I would have been like, alright, let's go ham! But I didn't.
the only similar situation to that kind of oh crap stuff is happening
Yeah.
that I've been in is I was walking through the main area of our high school
Okay.
when the seniors decided to do their prank w- that they where
Oh!
they like started playing boom boxes everywhere and they just like
Yeah!
ran into the common area.
I remember that. I remember you telling me about that.
Yeah, I was walking through the common area and I was like in the middle and then I just see like hundreds of people coming towards me and I was like what the heck is happening?
uh,
Oh,
we had a
that's a yeah.
yeah. We had a good nostalgic time here. Wait, let me see. Is there anything else I can think of? I played a lot of World of Warcraft.
Oh,
I was yeah, like
nice.
that was my first ever Blizzard game, because my dad got it, and then mom had an account. My sister had an account. I had an account. We all had a Warcraft account. I was a night elf hunter, I think, with a lion companion who I named Starfire.
Heck yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So I played a lot of World of Warcraft, and then we lost our account.
Oh,
I was like level 26. I want to get back into World of Warcraft.
you should.
I do.
That would be a fun time.
I'm so addicted to Blizzard games now. Like Overwatch took over my life, Hearthstone took over my life. I don't know any other I don't know any other Blizzard games.
They're out there.
They're out there. They are out there. Let's see. Is there any other stuff that I can think of? Just screams nostalgia for me.
Um, I
Uh,
don't know. I didn't mention Professor Layton, but that's because I literally carry Professor Layton with me every day.
uh-huh. Well, I carry fucking Fetcher's Rev Ruffman with me every day in the form of being myself.
Yes. You do. I literally stop and think about Professor Layton like seriously every day.
and then you hear a diddling, and then the puzzle music starts, and then everything goes wrong. Oh, another thing with me, if it's anything Warner Brothers holds
Oh yeah.
nostalgia for me. Do you remember how happy I was when we went on the Warner Brothers tour in
I
LA?
do. You were so happy.
That was one of the best days of my life, just because they had the original storyboards for the beginning of the Batman animated series.
Yes.
And
You were so happy.
I was, and then I don't know if he was allowed to do this, but the guy who was giving us a tour let me turn on the bat signal.
Yeah, that was really cool.
Oh,
You were super excited, and then we just like saw it go like turn on, and we were like, "Whoa!"
oh, oh my god! And it's just like Warner Brothers has just been such an integral part of me growing up. Like I watched so much Boomerang. I watched my dad is really into DC and Marvel and stuff, but mostly DC in terms of cartoons. So I have watched the entirety of the Batman animated series, parts of the Superman animated series, the entirety of Justice League and Justice League Unlimited at least 4 times.
Heck yeah.
I just anything Warner Brothers. I know Animaniacs, Pinky and the Brain. Oh, what else? Looney Tunes. Looney Tunes. Looney Tunes. Looney Tunes back in action. No, it back to front. It's
Heck
just
yeah.
that was one of the best days of my goddamn life. Just running around Warner Brothers. Oh. I did I cry? I forget if I cried or not. I got
I don't
close.
think you cried. You definitely got emotional
Oh,
though.
I was incredible. I was dragging you along, you poor man.
That's okay. I was just kind of like walking because I was on the opposite side. I grew up watching not almost any Warner Brothers.
So I was a tour guide. It's like, look at my entire life. Here, I'll tell you about this.
Yeah, there were a couple things where I was like, "Oh yeah, like I know this and I know that," and then everything else in between, I was just like, "We out here."
We out here. Where did Alex go? Oh, she's over there. All right, we're good. I think between the two of us, you liked Universal more though. Well, the Harry Potter
Yes.
part, because I didn't really connect with anything in the Harry Potter part.
Yeah, I did like the Harry Potter part a lot. That
That
was really cool.
that was the one ride we went on in our entire time in LA. The
Well,
one
we went
ride,
on uh the
the Universal tour, I suppose.
yeah, we went on the Universal tour and then we went on the teacups
Oh,
and we went on It's a Small World a couple of
we
times.
That's right. I wanted to go on It's a Small World like 3 times.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure the teachers that were on staff, the teachers who were there, knew us quite well because it was a art trip. It was an artful trip, and so the teachers on staff knew us, and so they probably. I remember our between the two of us, our favorite teacher. You know the one I'm talking about.
Yes.
She looked at me and goes, "You're not gonna get on any of the rides?" And I looked at her and I said, "Me and Nick don't like roller coasters." And she goes, "Not even a little, a little." I was like, "No, thank you."
Oh, you know what? We went on the Winnie the Pooh ride also.
That was the best ride I've
That
ever
was
been on in my
fantastic.
life. Oh my gosh, that ride was fantastic. That boy just left his body so
Me
quickly.
too.
Ugh. Oh, and we went on the race car thing.
Which,
Remember? I drove you around.
you drove me around?
Yeah, we both had a minute of you driving me and then I drove you.
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
do
yeah.
remember that one.
Yeah. That
Yeah, cause I remember because our car stopped working when I was driving.
Yeah, I remember that. At the very
I was
end
like, oh
too.
my god, we're stuck here.
You didn't tell me
And then
that.
all the other cars were lining up behind me, and I was like, I can't move.
Oh, you poor man. That was a good that was a good trip. I'm glad we went on that trip.
That's a good trip.
The Getty Museum was fantastic.
What?
The Getty Museum.
Oh yes, that was
Oh,
fantastic.
that was one of the best places I've ever been. I was so
Yeah.
excited to be there, but at the same time I was petrified that I would hit something.
Yeah.
I was
Oh.
absolutely terrified because I have big hips, and I am not what one would say. I am what the children say, clumsy. I am quite clumsy, and so every time I kept my elbows incredibly close to my body, my hands were in their upright position, and I just did not move if I was around anything ceramic. I was like,
Yeah.
I'm not moving.
That was cool though.
Those gardens were fantastic. The first time we went to the zoo together was pretty nostalgic for me.
Yeah.
That was a good day. Because I think I didn't know at the time that you were in art. Like,
Really?
we took our first years of art apart from each other, babe.
Yeah, we did.
And so the next year, I was just like, oh. And then we went together on the field trip. I was like, oh! It's real! And that was a good day because we were with a good amount of our friends. And I drug you over to the Wildcats exhibit. And as
Yeah.
always, my dad was there and he made a game plan to make sure we got to see our favorite exhibits.
Yes, we had like a time schedule. We
Yeah,
would go
dad had a
to and from. It was awesome.
yeah, that's how it was every time. That's another major thing with me. If my dad was able to make it, he would go with me on and he pretty much always was able to go with me on field trips.
Yeah.
He would make it a point that he would go with me on field trips.
That's so
In
good.
fact, to the point where in the roster for do you remember this? Yeah, in the roster for the field trip, it wouldn't even be his name. It would just be our last name, Dad, because they refer because a lot of the time they would refer to me as my last name because Alex is a very common first name. And so a lot of the time I would be referred to as my last name. And so nobody thought to put my dad's first name. They would just put our last name Dad because that's how everybody knew him. Because he came
It's
around
true.
so much.
It's true.
Uh-huh.
But it was fun. It was good
Oh, that
times.
was good. And that was the first time I ever put mayonnaise on a goddamn french fry.
And it changed your life.
It really did. It really did. Like, I'd always put ranch on them, but oh, never mayonnaise. What a
Oh,
day that was.
delicious.
Fantastic.
I
All right. Well, I think
think
we've
we've
had a.
come to the end.
Yes, we have. We had a good trip down memory lane, I should say.
Yes,
Yes, I really enjoyed this.
it was a good time.
It was, it was. So, as always, have a good day. See you next time. We believe in you.
Take care.
Bye!
Bye.